And first up of our final two is Jeff with Neil Smith. 3 minutes on the clock for 20th year man, Neil Smith.
All right, so I stand here or sit here in support of Neil Smith being part of our 2025 Hall of Fame class. When you think about Neil Smith in the 1990s, he was all decade second team, six-time Pro Bowler, six legit selections, no replacements, one-time AP first team All Pro, two-time AP second team All Pro. He was actually top five twice in the AP Defensive Player of the Year voting, third and fifth, and a two-time Super Bowl champion with those great late 90s Broncos teams in 97 and 98. He had 30 career forced fumbles, which hold up pretty well in terms of historical defensive ends. He led the league in that category in 1994, three other times that Neil Smith was top five there. As a defensive end, he had four career interceptions, two career defensive touchdowns, 104 and a half career sacks, at a 4 year stretch of double digit sacks each year, led the league in 1993 with 15 of them. Another thing I'll point out here, he had 4 seasons with at least 10 plus batted balls, which kind of speaks to his size and in particular his kind of like albatross type length at the defensive end position, which also manifests with the 5 career block kicks. He was really a great all around defensive end. And you hear so much about like his teammate Derek Thomas, rest DT soul, and how Derek Thomas was there and took the attention. I argue the reverse. It was Neil Smith and his high level of play, both as a pass rusher and as a run stuffer, that allowed Derek Thomas to pin his ears back and just go get the quarterback. And when you look at the numbers in the 90s, it was Neil Smith that led the Chiefs in pressures on the quarterback 6 times versus twice for Derek Thomas. So just think about that. Um, Mike Shanahan talked about when he brought in Neil Smith in the 97. For a decade, I was directing game plans around Neil Smith. Notice that he was talking about Neil Smith, not Derek Thomas. The NFL, we talk about guys changing the game. You think whatever you want about it. The league in 1998 enacted the Neil Smith rule because he learned like I can draw offensive linemen all sides by movement before the sack. So before the snap. So he literally changed the game. We throw that out there too much, but there's literally a rule that was put in place because he was so good at doing something. There's a reason he used to be in the old chunky soup commercials, and he was playing in KC for most of his career. Like he was a huge star, and it's like in the 90s, everybody knew just how elite and special Neil Smith really was. And there was a reason he was considered a key missing piece to help the Broncos get over the hump in 97, which they did. And now we sit here in 2025, and for some reason, it seems like he's largely been forgotten. And that's sad. And while I acknowledge his sack numbers are a little lower than some of his peers, or some others, we even heard about Jared Allen, who was a great pass rusher. I think it's Neil Smith's all around skill that really helps him stand above. And that's why I feel Neil Smith should be voted in to our Hall of Fame for 2025.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeff. And